brain shrinkage and your thought process. Knowledge is brain power, brain shrinkage is frightening and painful. Shrinking of brain could actually be caused by mindless activities or habits that we are unknowingly doing every day. Brain shrinkage has been linked to a declining memory, difficulty in thinking, or putting together metaphorical puzzle pieces together. By changing a few aspects in life and adding a few brain exercises, brain will be given a better chance than before. Start with a good night's sleep, for brain's sake. According to a recent study published in the journal Neurology, minimum 6 to 8 hours of sleep is required to prevent shrinking grey matter in the brain in long run. Scientists at the University of Oxford in England collaborated with the University of Oslo in Norway, collected and compared the brain scans of 147 Norwegian adults for a period of 3.5 years. The study's participants' sleep quality, patterns, and daytime sleepiness recorded. It was found, those who had poor sleep quality had experienced shrinkage in their frontal cortex, in addition to the deterioration or atrophy in 3 other areas of the brain, responsible for reasoning, planning, memory, and problem-solving. The brain is made up of grey and white matter. The grey matter makes up a large portion of the central nervous system and is where a majority of the brain's neurons are located. Neurons allow us to think, see, hear, speak, feel, and move. The white matter gets its name from all of the white-colored myelinated axons it contains, which are used to carry the messages throughout the brain. The grey matter, on the other hand, is the key to processing the information, once it is carried along nerve fibers until it reaches its destination. Brain shrinkage can cure psychosis by cutting down the amount of activity powered through thoughts. This is what exactly the antipsychotic drugs are doing, shrink the brain and cut short the thought process. Different types of antipsychotics shrink the volume of grey matter differently. Higher the dosages, the more the grey matter it shrinks, ultimately decreasing the amount of messages being sent throughout the brain. Researchers say shrinking the brain may be worth it because it decreases the dopamine activity that controls reward and pleasure centers of the brain by decreasing hallucinations and psychosis. According to a study by Yale researchers, depression sufferers also have to fear the fates of their brains. They found dendrites, the structures that connect neuron messages together, shrink from lack of pleasure and happiness. There was such an abundance of post-mortem depression in sufferers' brains that had less grey matter. The researchers found that a drug that blocked the production of stress stopped producing the brain-damaging proteins. Major life stresses can severely shrink neurons in the prefrontal cortex that's responsible for metabolism, glucose, emotional processing, and problem-solving. The striatum is another part of the brain that's responsible for reward. This also processes motivation and is the reason why pornography shrinks the brain. German scientists recently revealed in a study, the more often men between the ages of 21 and 45 used pornography, the less grey matter they had inside their heads. The connections between the brain's striatum and the prefrontal cortex, which also controls impulse, social control, suppresses emotions, and controls sexual urges, are worsened the more a person watches pornography. Researchers believe the findings suggest those who watch porn have less control and impaired decision-making abilities than the average person. To improve the brain function, switch hands from your dominate and try exercising your brain in a new way. If you are a right-handed person, pick your pen with left hand and try writing a few sentences every day. Performing simple tasks, such as eating or brushing teeth, will force the brain to relearn in a new way and engage regions of the brain with new wiring. Take a daily dose of 600 mg docosahexaenoic acid supplement for 6 months. It's an omega-3 fatty acid that makes up the central building blocks of brain tissue. Docosahexaenoic acid is also known to combat inflammation and plaque buildup. Exercising improves cognitive performance and enriches brain stimulation in the brain-deprived neurotropic factor, a substance that strengthens brain cells and neural connections. Exercise has even been shown to build new cells in the hippocampus, which is responsible for memory, organizing, and storing information. Meditation will give your brain the power it needs. Hospitals call it the relaxation response, which lowers blood pressure, heart rate, and anxiety. Meditation, or pray, can reverse the gene expressions involved with programming cell death. Thank you.